Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back with another video from 6, and today we're checking out Jiraiya versus Kakuzu. I am Team Jiraiya on this one. I might be wrong. I am quite often. Let's see what 6 thinks. 6 is absolutely nailing these videos at the moment. I love the stuff he's been talking about. Yeah, so let's get into it.
Jiraiya, one of the three legendary Sannin in the
Sannin.
Toad Sage versus Kakuzu, the 90-year-old Jinchuriki hunter and a notorious mercenary. Does Pervy Sage really have what it takes to win?
Yes.
I'm just gonna spoil this now. The clear answer is yes.
Yeah.
I often get a lot of questions from you guys
Let's
about
go.
how Jiraiya and the other Sannins compare to some of the weaker Akatsuki members like Kakuzu. So in this video, I'll be going over why Jiraiya, even in base, would destroy Kakuzu.
So not even using Sage mode. Whoa, okay, let's go.
If you've been in the fandom for a while, then you should know it's become fairly common to see people exaggerate how strong characters like Kakuzu are. And on the flip
Yeah, people think Kakuzu could beat Pain. Like,
side, there are people who completely exaggerate how weak Kakuzu is. And it's completely ridiculous. For this, I'll be primarily sticking to the manga and data books, but I'll make sure to include some stuff from other materials where it's relevant. I'd also like to ask you to leave a like on the video and subscribe.
Subscribe
just
to
help
6
the
man.
channel
He's
out. With that being said, let's get started by going over just how strong Kakuzu and Jiraiya both are and compare how they and their arsenals would do in a fight. So like I said before, you'll often see a lot of people exaggerate Kakuzu's minimal showings to exaggerate how strong he was. So the best place to start here would be by debunking this sadly common misconception that Kakuzu, despite losing to Naruto with a small QB imp before he even trained to learn Sage mode, is secretly way faster than Minato and KCM1 Naruto and the strongest man in the Akatsuki, and that Kishimoto, instead of, telling us as much or keeping him around in the long term to show us this, decided to convey this instead through one or two vague showings. No, but really though, it's really incredibly dishonest, but you'll see a lot of people try to say that because Kakuzu reacted to Yugito's paw before he got trampled during their fight, that this somehow leads to the conclusion he's faster than KCM1 Naruto, who's being pressed by Obito's enhanced Edo Jinchuriki during the war arc. For one, while Kakuzu did manage to react to the slowest form of Yugito, this in no way proves he'd be able to do the same to base or V2 Yugito when she was alive. On top of this, unlike regular Edo Tensei Shinobi, the Edo Jinchuriki are said to have become much faster and stronger than they were when they were alive, due to Obito outfitting all of them with Sharingan and Rinnegan vision, while also controlling their moves. This shouldn't come as a surprise either, but since the Sharingan by itself has been said to provide an overall boost to the user's combat ability due to its kinetic vision many times over, you'll sometimes hear people say it only provides a boost to the user's perception and reaction speed due to the way the kinetic vision is described. However, we're told by sources like the manga and the first data book that Sharingan users still move and attack faster with kinetic vision than without it. So as you can see, there are many reasons why the Kakuzu wank just doesn't work. And as I said,
I love how he's like, if we use things like the manga, like the original source material that it is displayed in.
Before, it should be obvious how dishonest it is to say Kakuzu was some secret Obito slayer that just got defeated by 4 Jonin level ninja through teamwork and trickery. Like, we didn't see Konoha team up and fail to cheese Pain in the very next arc.
That didn't happen, did it?
With that all out of the way, we begin to talk about how
that's a very, very valid point to be made. They just teed up and cheese Pain. Oh, mate.
Strong Kakuzu really is. So, all jokes aside, Kakuzu, like the other Akatsuki members, was a pretty prominent and imposing villain when he was first introduced to the series.
Definitely so.
And while
very interesting in the whole Four Hearts thing and how they have the different stuff, very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Things like having fought Hashirama once and being able to use all 5 changes in chakra nature aren't a big deal now, those accolades were almost unheard of when we were first introduced to Kakuzu. It should also be noted that it is true all of his opponents needed to team up and work together in order to defeat him. However, his feasible showings against people like Kakashi also often get exaggerated quite a bit. For one, a lot of people seem to think Kakuzu was clearly superior to the Kakashi he fought in nearly every way. However, outside of combat skill, this just simply isn't true. You'll often see people use Kakuzu's kick on Kakashi while he was in the middle of attacking Hidan to say he was fast enough to speed blitz him. However, Kakashi was clearly just caught by surprise.
Yeah, he's focused on Hidan. Like, it just comes out of nowhere and he's like, boop. It's like, it wasn't, he didn't, yeah.
Here, it's important to note that while the lightning blade does greatly increase Kakashi's movement speed, that is due to him accelerating and building up speed as he travels, and he had only moved like 2 steps when Kakuzu intercepted him. It's also important to note.
Yeah, it's not like he built up momentum and he just like jumped in halfway through, like, and just completely intercepted him. Like, it's like he said, he just took 2 steps. Like, you build up momentum. It's like it's how running works. You're not at your fastest in your first 2 steps.
Kakashi also landed a
I would know. That's how I hurt myself.
much more successful sneak attack on Kakuzu, using his lightning blade literally right before this, taking out one of his hearts in the process. It's also not very consistent to say Kakuzu is superior to Kakashi, even if you ignore the anime where they swapped hands, in light of Kakashi's performance as the fight continued. Even after spending a lot of chakra using multiple lightning blades, Kakashi was able to counter Kakuzu's ninjutsu on multiple occasions, like when he negated his lightning style False Darkness with 2 lightning blades, or when he blocked his wind enhanced fire style using just his water style. Kakashi was also the first opponent to survive Hidan and Kakuzu's combo onslaught, and while he struggled to do so, this should still make it questionable if Kakuzu could even defeat Kakashi by himself.
Yeah.
Kakashi's raw power with his lightning blades was also impressive here, with him dealing the final death blow to Kakuzu after already destroying one of his hearts earlier in the fight. Kakashi being this strong in terms of raw power is also fairly consistent, seeing as he was implied to be around the same level as Naruto, who defeated Kakuzu in this area. Clashing Rasengans with him before this, being uncertain who was stronger between himself and Naruto after watching him defeat Kakuzu, all of it alludes to the fact that Kakashi is probably around Naruto's level. Kakashi also muses after the fight that he could have defeated Kakuzu with Kamui if he needed to, and that he wasn't even forced to use it. So the main point here is while Kakuzu displayed a lot of skill in his battles with Naruto, Kakashi, and Team Asuma, he ultimately wasn't much more powerful than Kakashi and Naruto at that point. With that out of the way, let's talk about Kakuzu's abilities and how they could help him in this fight.
Yeah, like, what's he gonna do? Because we're not even going into Sage mode with Jiraiya, are we? So
Kakuzu's raw strength may not be that impressive. His ability to use all 5 chakra natures simultaneously on top of his quote-unquote immortality could be pretty irritating for Jiraiya in this fight. Like I said earlier, Kakuzu was the first character we ever saw with the ability to use all 5 chakra natures. However, he does so through his forbidden technique, which lets him steal and manipulate the hearts of his enemies. Once they're incorporated into his yarn and given a mask, they can fight independently of Kakuzu and assist him in battle. However, since these techniques weren't even strong enough to overwhelm Kakashi, they won't be any more successful here. Kakuzu can also use his yarn to heal injuries and fight in weird ways, and has other strong techniques like Diamond Morph, which drastically increases his durability. However, since both of these abilities fell victim to Kakashi's lightning blade, they really wouldn't do any better against the Rasengan from Jiraiya. Not saying that Jiraiya's Rasengan should just be able to eat through Diamond Morph no matter what, but since the databook says that Kakuzu can't move the hardened body part, he could put it all over his body, sure, but in the end, he'd have to take it off in order to attack Jiraiya at some point. So with Kakuzu's strength and comparatively minuscule arsenal out the way, we can talk about how strong Jiraiya is and how his abilities would work here by comparison. While there aren't too many ways to directly compare Kakuzu to people like the Sannin, Kakashi and Naruto both serve as good measuring sticks for us to see how Kakuzu would stack up to Jiraiya. While Kakashi did train and develop his skills as a ninja during the time skip, if you've seen my other videos, then you should know that I don't believe he grew much faster or stronger than before until after the later parts of Shippuden. This is mainly due to his lack of showings that would suggest a big increase, on top of the fact that his databook stats for speed and strength remain unchanged between the second and third databooks, which would suggest he hadn't grown much, if at all, in those specific areas.
Okay.
While databook stats can be iffy when applied in general, they have been used to show increases in progress in the context of individual characters. On top of this, he was also still comparable to Kabuto and Guy at the beginning of Shippuden, so the meta didn't really change over the time skip. This brings us to Jiraiya, who was considered to be a better Hokage candidate than Kakashi before and after the time skip, and this would make Jiraiya stronger than him since we've been told numerous times that the position of Hokage is only given to the strongest ninja in the village. On top of this, Jiraiya also believes his techniques like the Rasengan are more powerful than Kakashi's techniques like the Lightning Blade and the Chidori. It's also pretty consistent for Kakashi to be weaker than the Sannin at this point.
Well, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like they're bigged up for a reason, aren't they? You got Tsunade as Hokage because Jiraiya didn't want it. Like they even go out to find her to bring her to do that. Like they are stronger than Kakashi.
Since we literally saw he stood no chance against Orochimaru, who was said many times to be a stronger criminal than Kakuzu and a rival for base Jiraiya and Tsunade. So even in base, Jiraiya should be clearly superior to Kakashi, who was pressing Kakuzu, and he should be more than capable of taking down his hearts with his Rasengan, just like how Kakashi did with his Lightning Blade when it comes down to it. It's also fairly easy to use Naruto's performance against Kakuzu to say Jiraiya could also defeat him, since it would be fairly obvious that, like Kakashi, Naruto was just not on Jiraiya's level by this point, seeing as that was one of the big reasons he wanted to learn Sage Mode, that was to surpass Jiraiya. The canonicity here is questionable, however in the story mode of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, Naruto was unable to do a thing to base Jiraiya even after completing the Rasen Shuriken and defeating Kakuzu, which would be a pretty cut and dry way to say base Jiraiya would handle Kakuzu.
Yeah.
However, like I said, the canonicity when it comes to these games and the manga is questionable.
Yeah, sometimes they're a little bit different in the games and that, and it's like we've even got extras of the game froze in with you get like stuff like Shisui's Susanoo, which we never saw in the manga, or did we see it in the anime? Not sure. And then the interactions within the Akatsuki, and that when they form and that you get extra stuff, which sometimes kind of like doesn't really fit, but
since they specified the anime in the infamous interview where CyberConnect 2 said the story made for Generations was quote unquote canon. So take that as you will.
Right.
So now that we've established that even in base, Jiraiya would be too much for Kakuzu to handle, let's talk about his huge arsenal and some of the stuff he could use to deal with Kakuzu here. Like Kakuzu, Jiraiya also displays a lot of mastery with elemental ninjutsu, on top of other techniques like the summoning jutsu, and even more powerful techniques he learned from the toads of Mount Myoboku, like Sage Mode of course, which he can use to quickly and easily overwhelm Kakuzu in a fight. While Jiraiya can't use all 5 elements like Kakuzu, with 4 databooks stating he's only capable of using fire, earth, wind, and water style, Jiraiya does have more than enough to work with to deal with Kakuzu's techniques. For one, Jiraiya is very adept in the use of fire style and has many powerful techniques he can use to blow Kakuzu and his wind, earth, lightning, and even fire hearts away, since he's stronger than Kakashi, who had no trouble keeping up with Kakuzu's ninjutsu. This includes techniques like his flame bombs, which he often enhances using toad oil, which he can also use separately to slow down his targets or immobilize them before he blasts them with his fire style. While cornering all of Kakuzu's hearts individually could be tedious and time consuming normally, Jiraiya can easily overwhelm and balance out the numbers with the many toads he can summon from Mount Myoboku like Gamaken,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, like makes up the numbers.
Hero, or Gamabunta, he can perform even larger scale collaborative techniques with, like their toad oil flame bullet, which to be honest, if you look at the size, I don't know how Kakuzu would even survive with it.
Yeah, like he's ginormous. Look at that area of effect. How is he doing anything? Plus, would Jiraiya's sound genjutsu be effective as well? Or could Kakuzu use his hearts to get out of it? You know, like people with one of the Nine Tails beasts inside of them can like use that to wake them up. It's like having a second person. Do the hearts work that way?
These. On top of his fire style, Jiraiya also has many powerful earth style techniques he can use, like his dark swamp, which he can use to immobilize
That is
Kakuzu,
such
or
a
his hearts
huge
and turn them into
area of
like sitting
effect, bro.
ducks.
Jesus.
Like Naruto, Minato, and Kakashi, Jiraiya can also use the Rasengan, one of the most powerful techniques ever created according to the 4th data book.
I mean, you see the size of it. He uses against pain before pain absorbs it. Kakuzu isn't going to absorb it that way, is he?
And since, like I said before, we're told this is much more powerful than Kakashi's lightning blade, he wouldn't have any problems using it to put down Kakuzu, even if he tries hiding behind his diamond armor for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Now this is also some gray area, but if you've been around the fandom long enough to play the video games, then you probably know Jiraiya has an infamous fire style or Great Flame Rasengan that has not been referenced a single time within the manga or anime. However, we do get a picture of it on Jiraiya's page in the guide we got for the manga's 10-year anniversary.
Cool.
So this is something he could arguably actually use in a fight. And if Naruto's Rasen Shuriken is any clue, this would be way beyond even Jiraiya's regular Rasengan, so Kakuzu wouldn't stand a chance against it.
No way. Yeah,
if you
that's
think
sick.
making a flaming Rasengan is something he can actually do.
That is cool.
Jiraiya also boasts a lot of other versatile techniques like his Lion's Mane, Sealing Jutsu, Transformation Jutsu, and other powerful techniques. However, since there are so many, it would just be overkill to go over all of them here. But one that would make this fight an utter stomp in Jiraiya's favor is his ability to summon Ma and Pa and use Sage Mode. While Jiraiya doesn't have a quote-unquote perfect Sage Mode
It still
that he can
boosts
use
him.
by himself like Naruto and Minato, he can enter Sage Mode with the help of Ma and Pa, the two great Toad Sages he summons and has sit on top of his shoulders. Like other sages, Jiraiya becomes much faster and stronger in this form according to Pa and the data books, by taking in nature energy in order to mold Sage Chakra, which in turn also makes his techniques much stronger than before. While his fire style and base was already powerful enough to blow away Kakuzu in any of his techniques, it just becomes overkill in Sage Mode, with the 3rd data book noting that his flame bombs grew 10 times bigger. His Rasengan also becomes much more powerful with him being able to use the massive Rasengan, which the 3rd data book says he can use to easily carve away mountains. His basic abilities like his Taijutsu and Lion's Mane technique also become a lot more dangerous with attacks like the Kabari Senbon, which simultaneously boast the highest speed and range out of all of Jiraiya's techniques. Meaning there is absolutely no way Kakuzu or any of his hearts would be able to dodge.
Yeah, like, Kakuzu's not doing anything.
Ma and Pa also work great at supporting Jiraiya, with them being able to perform many powerful collaborative techniques with him,
Yeah, they work
like
really
the
well
Bath of Boiling Oil,
together, yeah.
which
Yeah,
can
that was
reach
sick.
temperatures of several thousand degrees, or the Toad Song, a powerful genjutsu which was even capable of stopping pain for a little while. Ma and Pa also have techniques of their own which they can use, like Ma's tongue, which she can use to track and immobilize targets before Pa blast right through them with high pressure water style. So basically, I mean, you get the picture. Like I said, when Jiraiya enters Sage Mode, this
No
fight
chance.
becomes even more of a complete stomp. I only mentioned it to make this video a bit more informative for everyone. So like I said from the start, despite what some people may say, I think this is an easy Jiraiya W. He's just, put simply, on another level compared to people like Kakashi and Rasen Shuriken Naruto, who showed time and time again they had what it took to compete with and defeat Kakuzu. On top of the fact he has more than enough in his arsenal to deal with him, whether it's fire style or Rasengans. And once you add Sage Mode into it, and all the crazy abilities he used against pain like Toad Song on top of this, it just becomes unfair and impossible to say Kakuzu would do anything here. But yeah, that's it for the video. Obviously leave a like on it if you liked it, and subscribe. You know, I have more versus battles on my channel, plenty you can check out after this video. And you know, have a nice day.
Sweet. Cool video. Yeah, I was right. Kakashi wins. Whip, whip. Yeah, it's just, Kakuzu doesn't really, I don't get why people really like boast Kakuzu up so much, like, but everyone's got their favorites. So that was a cool video. 6 has got plenty of decent ones recently uploaded. And what's the next one I want to check out? Oh, has Boruto even developed? I'll be checking that out in a couple of days' time. And as he uploads stuff, go. And it looks like Swagkage's uploading some more stuff as well. And I'm gonna check out Seth's video on Bardock, just cause I'm intrigued. Like I said in another video, obviously not a big fan of the whole Seth situation, but I like the videos, so I'm still gonna check that out, gauge what you guys think, and then go from there. And anyway, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month for the last support channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys very much for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe, and leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch, discuss some future videos, and I'll see you guys next time.